Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
We're gonna show y'all how to run the
Yeah,
meeting.
number one on the agenda, resolution creating a judicial appointment committee. Scott?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, admin committee. Judge McKinney has served his second four-year term. I know that's probably snuck up a little faster on a lot of us than we would have realized. By code, at the conclusion of the term of a municipal court judge, we are required to adjourn the judicial appointment committee. That committee is set out by a group of the people who make up that committee are set out by code. Most of those people are assigned specifically. There are certain people that have potential designees, and so I've been working on getting those designees nailed down. I emailed out the list. I didn't have it in time to go in y'all's agenda packet, but I did email out the list. So that committee would consist of Deputy Chief Sebo Sanders. He's the designation of the mayor. Council President Mr. Tyner would serve. Councilman Mr. Fail, who's the chair of the administrative committee, would serve. Former Council President Harrison Taylor is a city resident as appointed by the mayor. I serve in my capacity as city attorney. Ms. Herbert serves in her capacity as the Chief Human Resources Officer. The mayor has asked Judge England, as a former circuit judge, to serve, and he has agreed. And then bar commissioners for place 1 and place 2 of the Alabama State Bar. That would be Josh Hayes in place 1. And Mr. Tyner and I had a joke about how many people were on this committee. I actually have 2 seats on this committee because I'm the bar commissioner for place 2. So I have designated Elizabeth Glasscox, who is a local attorney here and is the president of the Tuscaloosa County Bar, to serve as my designee in that position. The role of the Judicial Appointment Committee is the first thing they decide is whether or not they would consider the reappointment of the current municipal court judge. If they would, then they go ahead and act on that. If they would not, then they proceed to take applications. Judge McKinney has indicated that he would like to be reappointed. I know he has the mayor's support. I know of no reason why the committee would not support him, so I expect this to likely be a fairly quick process. You will see this resolution that sets out the committee come before council on next Tuesday. We'll let the holidays kind of get past, and then sometime probably the middle towards end of January, we'll go ahead and convene the committee and sit down with everybody, meet and talk. Once they have completed their process, this council will see a ordinance appointing the municipal court judge.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, resolution approved. Item number 2, Scott, you still up?
Yes, sir. Our contract with our lobbyist ends at the end of the calendar year. We have used Steve Raby, who is employed with Huntsville Direct Communications. He has done an excellent job. I think he is going to be well positioned this next legislative session to really help us accomplish things. I know we have some heavy lifts, especially with RSA potentially coming up. He has not requested an increase in compensation. This is the budgeted amount that is budgeted in my office, and we would simply ask that you approve the contract to renew with him.
Make a resolution.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thanks, Scott.
Yes, sir.
Item agenda number 3, ordinance amending various sections of chapter 18 of the code of Tuscaloosa pertaining to structures and permit fees. Kimberly. And James.
Hello.
How you doing?
All right, so these are some changes that we've been talking about for the last probably year or so with just different issues that have come up. And so this item is going to be talking about changes to some of the structures and the permit fees related to structures on the lakes. Okay, so just an overview of what's changing. It's clarifying the language in the code for ease of understanding. So when you looked at the red line that I sent out over the weekend, you'll notice that a lot of them is basically just rewording some things that were in there. Just to clarify, there's a lot of things that the code wording changed, but what the intent of it didn't change. And we also amended some of the obsolete language, such as it would have said IPS in there still, so we've changed things to water and sewer department, things like that. We define residential and commercial. Residential is defined as single-family homes, and commercial is anything other than a single-family home. This also, the language changed to grant the director discretion of technical specifications so that there's not so many things that would have to come to y'all. There are things that are clearly defined in the code that we can make decisions within the department. It's creating a dedicated account to restrict the use of all lakes fees for the maintenance and improvements of the lakes. So any revenues that come in, whether it be parking fees or dock fees, any of those things will be directly used and go back into just infrastructure of the lake, whether it be parks, whether it be docks, just the different things like that that are related to maintaining the lakes and the upkeep of the lakes. We're updating the fees and adjusting the fees annually and tying them to the CPI each year. This also creates a fee structure that distinguishes between the corporate limits and police jurisdiction or outside of the corporate limits. So it separates the different fees related to whether you're in the city limits or outside of the city limits. And then if approved, the changes will go into effect January 1st of 2023.
So your non-residential user fees, they're gonna increase, well, they stay the same unless something happens. As in, it's $50 right now, but if you're in the county and you change of ownership, or you have a construction permit, to go to $75, but they will stay $50 in the city. And here's the new fees to run down. Like right now, our new structure's $100, we're gonna go to 50 cents per square foot in the city and 75 cents per square foot in the county. That's a building of new docks. And then the rest of the rundown, you can see that's basically 50% more in the county than what you pay in the city. On commercial, right now they pay one fee of $50. If you've got 50 boat slips in the commercial or 100 boat slips, they pay one fee of $50 a year. The commercial user fees, they're gonna pay $60 in city limits per boat slip and $120 if they're in the county. Or if you got, if you don't have any boat slips, like under the new definitions, homeowners associations, they'll pay $60 in the corporate limits and $120 in the county. The permit fees for commercial right now, they're $200 minimum, or $25. They'll go to $300 minimum, or $60 boat slip at corporate limits, and $120 outside in the county. A lot of information.
Yeah, any questions?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Kimberly, you still up?
Yes.
Keep rolling.
So this next item is also related to the lakes. This is creating a siltation bond. So when you have, there's been a lot of talk recently about developments that are creating siltation in the lake and, who's gonna dredge it, that kind of thing. So this is creating, there's not a,
Okay.
yeah. So this is creating a siltation bond for developments that affect the lake. So whether in the drainage basin. So like right now, it's just if you're on the lake, that's really the ones that we police. So the bond would be for developers and residences, and it's basically gonna be $2.50 per square foot of disturbed area, or $10,000, whichever is greater. And what this allows us to do is that if you get siltation in the lake and you don't clean it up, then we can cash the bond so that we can dredge the lake and protect the people who currently live on the lake and our lake. So this bond will be administered by engineering.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you, James. Item number 5, ordinance amending section 19-235, Code of Tuscaloosa.
Yes,
Shauna,
Council,
how you
yeah.
doing?
Thank you. So this is a request to update section 19-235 of municipal code. It's our municipal vehicle policy. We're just basically requesting to make the policy more modern. One, there was language in there in reference to temp employees being able to use our municipal vehicles, and they cannot. That's a violation of the contract with the temp agency. Also, now we have vaping, so we added that you can't vape, just like you can't use cigarettes and all that in municipal vehicles. Also, you remember the council approved for us to have a chief operations officer.
Right.
And so we're in the language in the policy where you'll see you have to have approval from the mayor. It has been updated to say chief operations officer
Okay.
so that Brendan will be able to make, or whoever the chief operations officer is, be able to make those approvals and the department head go directly to him. Since
Okay.
that's really a day-to-day operation.
Seems simple enough. All right,
Make a motion.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Then I pass. Item number 6, granting tender approval for 6 townhome units, 1402. Zach or Cat? Caitlin.
Good afternoon.
Oh, good.
All right, so this is a DROD submittal, 14 and 22nd LLC petitioning to construct 6 townhomes, 3 bedrooms each, located at 1402 22nd Avenue. This is a DROD proposal in Council District 4. Here's the site currently and that zoning. This is right next to the post office is catty corner towards the east, and then Vibe Salon, which is a new salon in downtown, is right next door on 22nd. Here you can see that aerial image, some great drone shots we were able to get. They will be approximately 1,500 square feet each. They will have parking along 14th Street and 22nd Avenue. 20 spaces in total will be provided, primarily constructed of brick veneer, hardy stucco, and cementitious lap siding. The Architectural Review Committee reviewed this and found that it meets the DROD standards and guidelines. Here you can see the concept site plan with the parking on 14th and 22nd, and then an additional lot over towards the west. Here are the floor plans, again, 3 bedrooms each. And here are some renderings they've provided. This was heard by the Planning Commission in November and unanimously recommended approval. You guys have any questions?
Show me again the location, please.
Yeah. So there you can see Vibe Salon. This might be a little bit more helpful.
Is this an overhead of Vibes that we're looking at?
Vibe is going to be directly below it. And then right up near where we've got that scale and north arrow, that's going to be the back side of that post office, the parking lot area that they have.
Close to Carrie
This
Fitz
might be
Real
helpful
Estate.
also. You can see it's just a little over a block north of 15th Street. If you look on that larger image.
Okay, it's how many townhomes? How many bedrooms?
18 total.
18 bedrooms, 20 spaces provided
Yeah.
within the development.
Yes.
All right,
I'll let you click for me.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you, Caitlin. Agenda item 7, Kimberly and Shonda, creating sludge filtration operators, senior job classification.
Yes. And
Mr. Chairman, can I ask one question that's
Sure.
gonna apply to all of these?
Sure.
All of these start with create. Where's the money?
so whenever we have a request from a department to create a class specification, the first thing that happens is the department head will send the request to HR. And then we send that request to Carly and her team, and they vet all the funding. So we've gone through the process to do that.
So Ms. Sanders, these are already budgeted into the budget we're dealing with, or?
So, like Ms. Herbert said, so I have not reviewed each individual one. The team has, and then all of the necessary documentation about where funding is coming from has been done appropriately, and then has been signed off. So,
Is it any funding in addition to the current 23 budget?
to the 23 budget, no, sir.
No problem.
Thank you, because I know there are several class specifications. We haven't had admin in a while, so we appreciate your patience. And just so you know, also, Mr. Busby, the mayor, Brendan, and I, we all meet quarterly, and we review current personnel and vacancies. Actually, the vacancies and see, hey, if a position has been vacant for a long time, we go to the department head and we say, hey, this position has been vacant so many days. What's going on with this? Is this something that maybe we could use for another purpose, maybe move the funding and used for another position? So we're constantly going through evaluating vacancies and things of that nature to see if maybe, hey, there's another position that we could use in the organization.
Okay, I was just triggered by the word create.
And I will say that
create.
a lot of these, there's a long-term back and forth between A&F and HR whenever these do come up, and there's that back and forth of, you know, are there possible salary savings because a position hasn't been hired for however many months? Could there be you know, writing off of one position to create another? So we do all of that
Okay,
generally.
y'all asked, my question was, is there any addition to the current 23 budget?
No, sir.
Okay. So the first request is to create a senior sludge filtration operator position, and I'll let Kimberly give you a little more details on the position.
This is basically when we did the water and sewer, the promotion type plan within to give operators or senior, or sludge operators an opportunity to be promoted within grade. So this wouldn't be a new classification or a new position. It would be, if they met certain specifications, then they could move to be a senior operator, like we've done with the, this is a senior filtration operator, like we've done with the operators or the maintenance techs. It's the same thing. It's just giving them the ability to be promoted within grade.
Good deal.
So all of these will not equal new FTEs.
Okay, a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Item number 8. Y'all still up? Kimberly and Sean to create water and sewer director?
So this would be a new position. This is part of the water and sewer department coming back together. And so this particular one would be over the overarching person that's over the financing related to anything with water and sewer at all, whether it be to help out with capital project funding questions, anytime we, like, you know, all the different items that I'm constantly bringing up here, where it's a lot of back and forth between myself and finance. So this would be the water and sewer person that would handle all the interaction with finance within water and sewer. It would also help with revenue projections and things like that. It would help with when we're trying to figure out like debt, how far are we off? It would be able to give us projections throughout the year so that we don't get, you know, at the end of the year and realize, hey, we're way off, you know, here's quarterly updates, that kind of thing.
Any questions?
And so is this somebody already in either finance or
This
would this
is,
be a new hire?
yes, sir.
But of course, current employees will be eligible to apply and fill that position.
I mean, and I would love internal employees to apply. It would help the process speed up. You know anybody you want to donate?
Hear a motion, please.
I'll make a motion. You got it.
All in favor?
You heard?
Yes, sir, I am.
She's been working hard on that RSA.
I see. I said, I'm glad I'm over here.
Agenda item number 9, create deputy executive director for water and sewer job classification.
So this would, again, would be the second position under me, and this has to do with the water and sewer coming back together. This position would have the ability to act in the absence of the executive director, but also help with not just day-to-day things, but the overall department structure as a whole.
Okay, make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. You got the floor. Number 10. You're still on it. Keep flowing. For the sake of time, we'll roll.
Yeah. Okay, so this particular position would be over the process assets group. We just revamped the job that I vacated. So the job title has changed a little bit, and we have downgraded the job to meet the requirements that we put in there. And so, again, that would be over the water treatment plants, the wastewater treatment plants, and the 3 lakes.
Any questions?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thanks, Kimberly. Shonda, you stay right there. Agenda item number 11, create director of facilities maintenance job classification.
So this is a request to says to create the Director of Facilities Maintenance job classification. We've had that classification previously several years ago. Of course, with the number of facilities that we have to maintain, we've all realized that we definitely need that position again. So this is a request to adopt that job classification again.
Okay.
Make a motion.
All in favor? Motion passed. Thanks, Summer. Agenda item number 12, create Director of Environmental Service job classifications. Mr. Green, Sam, and Sean.
Close by the time I get here.
So let me finish.
So this is a request. This is a request to adopt the Director of Environmental Services job classification. Have to say kudos to Sylvan. He's come in, hit the ground running, as well as Summer and Kimberly. All of them have absolutely hit the ground running and done a great job. So this is a request to give Sylvan some extra support and adopt the Director of Environmental Service job classification.
Okay.
Make a motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Also, this is a request to adopt the Director of Transportation Services. So what we call TDOT, this will be the Director of TDOT. On this classification, this person will also be able to act on behalf of Sylvan, in his absence.
Nobody can act behave.
I know, they can.
They try, but they can't. Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Jason.
Thanks, Sam. You talk
They can't get it. They can't get up early enough.
All right. Agenda item number 14, upgrade system administrator.
Yes,
Job
so
classification.
the system administrator position currently exists in our job classifications. This is a request to upgrade that job class.
Yes, this, currently, the grade that this is at does not accurately reflect the, amount of responsibility, that the job upholds. It's a on-call 24/7 position, and it's a very tiny increase over a, hourly technician position. So this is just to, set it a little bit better in our organizational structure.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Agenda item number 15, upgrade geographical information systems administrator.
Yes, this is the same thing. The GIS administrator position requires 5 years of experience, and it is placed in a grade step that is below positions that only require 2 years of experience. This is, once again, just to put it a little bit in a better place in the org structure to match the requirements.
Make a motion.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
Sure.
So Jason, same question triggered by create, upgrade, where's the money?
This also went through the same
Yeah, it's
set process.
he has the same general setup as that there are positions that were funded that are being, adjusted or not hired or, things of that nature will pay for this.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So, Jason, on something, you already voted?
Can we vote on that?
Okay. So we're on agenda item number 16. Shonda, Jason, y'all got the next
Yes.
6 or 7. Y'all want to just flow through?
These are all creating these are items 16 through 20 are creating senior job classification potentials for all of the, I'll say, mid-level positions in the department. Currently, once you get into a position that has 2 years of experience, you're pretty much stuck unless you go into a management position. So this adds 3 years of experience to each of the existing job class to give someone a career,
Okay.
basically.
So we're voting on item, agenda item number 16 here, right?
Make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Agenda item number 17. Create system analyst, senior job classification.
Same thing.
Make a motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I second my own. Okay, good. Agenda item number 18.
Same.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Agenda item number 19.
Same thing.
Make a motion.
Yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
And same with
20.
Same with
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
21 is the same,
Make a motion.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
and 22 is the
Make a
same.
motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
And 23 is to create a junior technical sports
Make a motion.
specialist.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you for your time.
No doubt.
You're welcome.
You wanna run a meeting? All right, agenda item number 24, sidewalk cafe ordinance amendments. Ms. Price,
I'm here.
save the day.
Well, let's see where we are in terms of saving the day. Because I know we were talking about sidewalk cafes, and I know that Mr. Smelly sent you something, I think sometime last week. Because we have talked about where sidewalk cafes, where you wanted to see them going, what kind of small changes and tweaks to the ordinance to allow a variety of umbrella colors, but we're gonna keep them without logos. Let's make sure the barriers can be cool and fun things to help reflect the character of the businesses. But really where we are today and where I'm hoping we can end up at the end is with some fees. And I know that you discussed, and we discussed back in October, some of those best practices from the other communities, looking at Asheville, Athens, Auburn, Como, Columbia, South Carolina, Fayetteville, Greenville, Los Angeles County, Mountain Brook, and even Oxford, Mississippi. And hoping to accomplish some of what you see on that screen in front of you. So looking primarily at the 6 cities on the screen from our October meeting, y'all said you really liked Asheville, you liked Athens, and you also liked $1 per square foot if you don't have alcohol and $2 per square foot if you do have alcohol. And so what we sent out to you was a $500 application fee, which puts it a little bit less than Asheville's, higher than Athens, and then $1 per square foot no alcohol, $2 per square foot with. Mr. Smelly, I know there was a question, real quick, we'll get this out of the way. Is the application fee yearly or is it a one-time
It
situation?
would be a one-time fee.
So it's a
Application
one-time fee, yeah. And so your examples would be looking at 5 at 750 square feet. Today, what they're paying is $350. If you did something along these lines, they would have a $500 application fee, and then 750 square feet times $2 a square foot would be $1,500 per year for a license fee. Sweet Home Food Bar is at 120 square feet, and so you take that times 2, that is $240 for their annual license fee. Alcove at 550, math is going to be real hard. That's $1,100 for their license fee with that 500. Black Warrior would go to $1,200 a year. Monarch, which has no alcohol, they would just be at $133 per year plus $500 for the application fee. So that's really where we need to, where we kind of want to end up is, what do you want to charge? That's the last question we have, is just what do you want to charge?
Can I offer some comments in the discussion?
Sure.
Thanks for putting this together. There's a couple of things that I have thoughts on. One is that space has value, and that property belongs to the taxpayers of those schools. 2 is the business owners deserve the consideration of no sharp dirt removal. So I've got a place I would like to see us get in terms of cost, but I would like to do it in a way that transitions there, not boom.
Cool.
The third point is there is a difference to me in these sidewalk cafes. I mean, you showed a couple of pictures up there that really it's a couple of posts with some chains, and at the end of the day, they take them down, they put their stuff inside, and you don't see it again until the next afternoon when it comes out. There are other places, I believe, that have built effectively walls on our property. And they are bolted into the concrete. They are wooden side walls. They don't ever come down. And those to me are apples and oranges. So as we move into this, I would like us to take some consideration of that as well. Like,
No, it's a fair point, Mr. Busby, and we
the
have,
walls are even, that's not supposed to be there now, is it?
well, they have been, a lot of them have been issued right-of-way use permits to build those walls. So 5 is one of the examples that you saw, the overhang and what they've done underneath. I mean, that was all done through a right-of-way use permit. The same would go for the area at 4th Street, the Temerson Square area where all those overhangs are and the canopy. That's all in the city's right-of-way. And so they've done that through right-of-way use permit. Mr. Williams is here with Avenue Pub. They did, the side patio for their area. That was a right-of-way use permit. So a lot of those more permanent structures or seemingly permanent structures were done through council approval.
Okay, well, that's somewhat calming. So if I see somebody with, well, you mentioned 5, they've actually got beam structures built up, but they've applied for a different permission to do that,
Yep,
correct?
they came to the council to create the structure, and then they come to the city to say, hey, we'd like to use now this portion for tax generation. I think is a really good way to separate those two out.
So unless proven otherwise, if I see quasi-permanent stanchions bolted into the concrete with wooden walls built, unless proven otherwise, I should assume that your enforcement people are aware of that and are monitoring it, and it's there because it's allowed to be there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, are we just discussing it, or we need to come up with the?
Well, if you've got a place you'd like to be, because I know we brought up the fees back in October,
Right.
and we've had some time to mull them over even maybe in the last week or so. If you've got a place where you'd like to be today, I know from a business license renewal season perspective, we would like to maybe, if we can, get something ready to send forward for full vote. If not,
So,
we'll work with it.
Councilman Busby said something interesting. He said, like, maybe gradually progress the price. So I don't know if we should. So we're at $350 right now.
So today you're at $100 for a license fee. Well, you're at $100 for a license fee if you don't have alcohol, and $250 if you do have alcohol, and then it's a $100 application fee.
But there's nothing tied to square footage?
No, sir, not today.
So
What would your recommendation be? I mean, do you think we should go up now and then maybe in so much, and then maybe the next year as well? Or?
I think when you look at what other communities are doing, I mean, y'all asked us to look at best practices and bring those to you. I think there's been a variety of fair points made, and I'm trying to remain
Yeah, I understand.
Switzerland over here.
Yeah, no doubt.
No, you don't
So
get
it's
to remain
strictly up to us.
Switzerland.
Any suggestions from council?
Well, and there's also, there's a couple members of the Downtown Merchants
Yeah.
Alliance
Yeah,
and business owners here for this topic as well.
Yeah.
Over there, stand here, or what?
Oh, you can come hang out with me at the podium.
Thank you, Ashley. Like Ashley said, I'm Craig Williams. We've got Avenue Pub and the Wine Market, and also am one of the officers on the newly formed Downtown Business Alliance. I think that the Sidewalk Cafes definitely have a lot to do with the Merchants Association, essentially, that we're just now forming or reforming. I'd like to, try to get some more input before drastically jumping. As Mr. Busby said, I mean, to take $350 a year, where our Sidewalk Cafe or Fives would jump from anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 a year. I mean, that's a 5 times increase, 5 to 7 times increase. It is city property. We are doing business on city property. But when we made the decision personally, not as a Merchants Association, but when I made the decision to move down to the end of the block, it was under the perception that there was a Sidewalk Cafe that was there, that I knew the permit fees for, of $350 a year. And so I think, hopefully that could be taken into account for
maybe the existing businesses that are already there, and then transitioning something to new businesses that would maybe have that effect, you know, on them, and they can take that information and weigh on it compared to somebody who's kind of already in the trenches and who's signed a 20-year lease. The other thing about the cities that we're comparing to, I mean, their price per square foot in Asheville, North Carolina, or Athens, Georgia, is probably significantly more for a retail space than what I'm paying in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And so, you know, kind of matching apples to apples, you know, is there a cost to do this? Ashley and Zach and I met for a while. I mean, there definitely is. I mean, and I think there's enforcement that's needed. I think that they've worked really hard on creating something. We need some boundaries, and there needs to be some kind of guidelines that prohibits, that kind of gets everybody in line to what it looks like, I guess, and makes sure that that the sidewalk cafes are bringing value to the area. So I'm 100%, you know, grateful of the work they've done in that. But, you know, the increases, I hate to say let's move on something today, just because I think it should really be evaluated a little bit further. I know Ashley wants to, and so I just ask that, you know, we could take into account what people have been paying and make sure that we're not jumping up at a crazy amount. And the other thing, you know, some of the impact fees for the lake and things of that nature, we're paying tax money year in and year out. It's not like we're showing up, making money, and running away with it. And I'm not saying developers do it. Anyways, but we're year in and year out, we're boots on the ground right there, and we're paying liquor tax. We're paying, I mean, the city business license it's a fair chunk of money, and I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying we need to address that now, but we're paying a good bit of money, and I do know that we're going to be on the we're also making money on the sidewalk. So I'd like to see just a happy medium at the end of the day.
When's the next admin meeting?
December 20th.
December 20th? Oh, that's short term too, isn't
Sure.
it? Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Maybe if you had the staff draft up 3 choices for the committee, because staff doesn't get paid to take, we get elected, we take the heat, but they're the experts. Maybe if we had them draft up 3 options to come to the committee and let the committee choose from the menu.
But that give you about the 20th, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
To talk to some of your other, the members of your association?
We may be able to accomplish it by that. You know, we haven't, you know, this would be the first kind of agenda item that we would really try to gather people together. And so, you know, anyways, yes, I mean, we could get it in the hands of some people with sidewalk cafes to get some input back from it. You know, I just, and I know Wayne's here with me representing the same thing, and he owns Black Warrior, one of the owners of Black Warrior Brewing as well, and he wants to come up here and speak as well.
Real quickly, just for us, for instance, because we were one of the examples, it would go from 350 to, if we did a 500 plus a $2 a foot, it would go from 350 to 1,700, which is a big jump. So like Mr. Busby was saying, that would be a big change, not a 10% or 15 or 20% increase, but a 500% increase.
I saw
We would like to see.
The consumer price index was also mentioned. I mean, you know what I mean? Again, you look at the two, it is a pretty drastic jump, and we do understand that it is the city sidewalk. It just,
Yeah, and we definitely gonna have to make some increases, so we probably just gonna have to.
It's 2022, I get it. It's,
you know. Man up and do it, and everybody, you know what I mean? We're gonna work with y'all and y'all, you know what I mean? But, I'd like to see, I mean.
I think it'd be nice to have a recommendation. I think, like you say, it'd be good to have a recommendation.
Yeah, for once, Mr. Busby was right about something. Maybe. But maybe we could get a couple recommendations, you know what I mean? Just, and you know, and then he's not gonna be on Ashley and then her crew. We gonna take the lick, because at the end of the day, we gotta be man enough to say, listen, we you know, we gotta have that, and it is what it is. But I'd like to see a few recommendations, and then we'll just
Well,
try
and
to meet
council,
in the
just
middle.
as a quick reminder, we did not just come up with this. This kind of came from the last meeting we had in October.
Oh, sure. No,
as a recommendation.
No,
So,
this is not a brainchild of.
so if we could kind of, let's narrow down a couple directions to send staff in, I think, in terms of recommendations. So I hear we'd like to do an incremental step potentially.
If I could comment, I would like to see, one that's just, an escalation of fees.
Okay.
Two is tied to, some measure of volume, whether it be square footage or seating. And I think, Ms. Price, if y'all can pull that information, if we had some idea, what's a table for 4 worth over the course of a year? Is it worth $1,000? Is it worth, I have no idea what it's worth. So I would, hang one second, please. It would, I would suggest we see one that's just kind of a level coming up, another one that's tied to some measure of benefit, whether that measure be square footage or tables seating. And I still think there should be some differentiation between those who just set stanchions up at the beginning of the afternoon, put tables and chairs out and then move them in, and those who have more permanently appropriated the sidewalk space. And I'm very glad to hear that's permitted.
Yes.
But I think
So tie one to
it's
the,
of value.
so tie one to a right-of-way use permit and one to folks who may just take things in and out every night.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, that was what I would think. Go ahead, I'm sorry, somebody.
No, you're fine. The permanency of this, between stanchions and that, over the years, I mean, even without a right-of-way use permit, we're suggested to bolt those to the ground because for them to be, when they're not bolted to the ground, the bartender each day can redefine their sidewalk cafe. But then also the removable ones were kind of wallering out the concrete. And so I know Black Warrior, when they first opened, they had a post that was in a hole, and after it gets moved back and forth for a while, it did that. And so some city staff members' suggestion, I know we were told, hey, when I was in the old location, put it in the ground where it doesn't
And
move.
I appreciate that.
And so I just want you, yeah, I mean.
I think that
there
was a learning point, so I'm down
Yeah.
off the ceiling on that as long as it's
And I-
permitted and we know about it. But the remaining question would be, it's more valuable, I think. If you're walled off permanently and people have to walk, that's of more value than just walking out and setting stuff up.
Or we can even explore a flat fee and not include the square footage charge. Maybe we could do that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm saying, that would be one of the options,
Yeah.
and the committee
Yeah.
could decide what option.
Yeah. But yeah.
I like
So,
that.
But
That
everything
could
else
be-
in the world has gone up substantially, including restaurant and bar prices.
But our cost, yeah, we're also, and I mean, this is, everybody can say this, but I mean, our bottom line is trash compared to 2 years ago. I mean, and I know everybody's is, but I mean, I'm sure y'all's, I don't know how the city, but
Table
it's,
this to
we're,
the next meeting on
our
the 20th.
restaurants are operating at
So-
against a lot of odds that they weren't used to a couple of years ago. And so, increasing prices right now,
We go on.
could put a lot of pressure on some places and put them out of business, And
Our construction prices have gone.
I can imagine. And so that's what I was gonna say. I know I'm over here saying the same thing everybody else
Yeah,
is.
you'll be fine. I guess we can just table this to the next, you want to say
So
something?
I have some concern with, it's December and we're getting ready to print renewals for 23 business licenses. So I don't know if we can get anything, if we don't make a decision today, can we change the fee before
When's
the renewals go out?
When would be the deadline?
Well, our final meeting of the year is December 20th, for the year, council.
February's the business license.
Council
We
meeting
send out
included.
renewal, we print renewals
December
mid-December, and they have to go out
Yeah.
by January 1st. So,
By when, January
Or
first?
should we
January
just,
1st. So my one thought is, if you're not ready to make a decision on this now, and we do need more deliberation, do we push it and make it before the next renewal season?
I mean,
I don't think you wanna waste another year. If nothing else, I would hope the committee would at least look at some, I don't wanna use the word minimal, but
So we
So
can
we need to make a
just a
decision
flat rate.
by 20th and double it up.
Put it on another
Is that what we
committee
need to do?
next week.
Scott,
Put it on another
when-
committee next week.
Yeah.
If you
Yes, it
can't
would
make
need
that
to
work on
be-
the 20, put it somewhere else.
Let
It
me,
would,
Scott, I'm sorry, could we put it in another
Put
committee
it on
next
another
week?
committee next week.
And then we could do it next week instead of the 20th?
Put it-
yes, sir, you could
Put
put
it
on.
on projects or projects or.
Projects
or
would be,
finance
You
or
could have
advisory.
special calls, couldn't you?
Yeah,
you could.
you could.
And it would be effective
Just put it
before
somewhere
January
else.
1st.
Okay.
Where you got time, you still got time if you do it next week, probably.
Or
Put
two.
it on project, yeah.
Put it on somebody's committee.
And then we just may come
What
up with a
moment
flat
is it?
rate.
It'd be fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So
So
can
can
y'all,
we-
Ms. Christ, can y'all have the options ready by then?
Or,
Is that realistic?
well, can we just come up with something that say, and we agree that we can just, yeah.
Have a special call.
I don't know
next
how
week.
long that would take, maybe we just gonna have to make a decision, you know what I mean? And say, hey, we're gonna do a flat rate of 5, 6, whatever it is, and stick with it.
I mean, I think you've laid out a menu of options that I just wrote down, and the only thing that I really can't do off the top of my head right now is number 2, which would be tied to something, the measure of the benefit that it provides. You know, what's a table of 4 worth over the
That's
years?
fine. I view that as informational.
Yeah. Well, and that could be part of that bigger discussion of if you're here and you want to be here, how do we reach that point down the road? And that may be next year's conversation. So.
I know we have another,
Committee,
yeah,
my committee.
okay,
We
So
can
we'll
we
just-
can pull something together for you
Okay.
for next week. That won't be too bad.
okay, that'll be fine. And are we gonna double it up on projects so we can actually vote on it?
So I thought you were gonna have a special call next week.
No, I think he said we was gonna move it to another committee.
Committee or whatever,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can vote on it, whatever.
Yeah, that's
We can
fine.
vote,
All right.
double it up, whatever we gotta do.
That'll be fine.
But if we did
Yeah.
need more discussion after next week, then we can have
Come
it
back
next
to
week and then.
20th.
That's right, then you vote.
We do.
It's gonna be hard on them, but.
We do more community development projects.
So can I have can we have a motion to move it to projects?
Make a motion, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passed. All right, we got tall grass discussion real quick with Will.
I think this will go pretty quick.
All right,
So,
cut it.
Just as the summary from, we all came here October 18th to go over it. Generally speaking, what I heard back from y'all was raise fees, speed up the process, increase efficiency. Y'all like the Birmingham and the Huntsville ordinances. The administration fee has not been updated in years, so we can reflect, and we've got something to show with that. And then the third offense in the same calendar year requires a court appearance. So as a reminder, Huntsville and Birmingham, there they are. They have a escalating fee structure, which, and so does Birmingham, and then they've got the mandatory jail in Huntsville and court appearance in Birmingham. In discussions with OCA, the Office of City Attorneys, I'm not sure we can escalate, but what I've got here is essentially all the administrative processes, the responsible employee, the time it takes, their hourly rate, and totals it. I mean, you got to remember we have an initial site visit. We get in the car, go out there. There's a follow-up visit. Customer service, if you see that on there, that's typically someone's calling asking questions. Why do I have to pay this? What do I have to do this? We generate reports to send over to the contractor, and you can see if the lien is processed, a legal assistant, the deputy city attorney. A lot of folks get involved, and that's not to mention, you can see at the bottom, materials. The $20 is an estimate on my end, admittedly, but all that adds up to right at $250, which is in line with the Office of City Attorneys discussions that the fee needs to be what we spend on it, so we're reimbursed for it. So we could do that, and then the third offense would take an amendment to section 13-68, which is the abatement, and it would simply require some language, one form or another, require if you have a third offense in the calendar year, you do have to go to municipal court. So if a first offense happens and the contractor is called to cut it, that's a minimum of really $300, because right now the contractor charges us $50, the administrative fees will be $250. So you've got $300, $300 again, and then you're going to court, and court cost is court cost, and you're also, you've gotten a citation or a summons. So just a quick overview, at least $300 if the city contractor is utilized. And the third offense in a calendar year, whether we call the contractor out or not, the third offense will require the appearance in municipal courts.
Mr. Chair. I remember greatly. This was part of my concern because in my district we have a lot of tall grass, and another factor is not just the offense, but I believe it is the timing that it takes to get it, and the person that we had done cutting the grass. And my question was, and concern, could we do as the school system does and split it up into northeast and western clusters to have a contractor person who is able to kind of manage those clusters? You perhaps know what areas that are going to be that need cutting, because I hear it all the time from a lot of the seniors in my district. And so even though we are increasing this, my concern is going to be the timeline of getting the contractor out there to get the grass cut. Because the contractor I think that we have has a job in Birmingham, and so he has to get to it whenever he can get to it. And yet we have other, I know businesses that we could perhaps go through Tuscaloosa bills and to give someone a job.
I think you need to, if there's a problem with the guy in Birmingham, but I'm not really for the clusters.
I'm just giving a
You got some
hypothetical.
areas that don't ever get called, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's not broken the way it is.
Right.
But you need to look at, I guess, if the guy is doing most of his time in Birmingham, and like I sent you an email today, did you get my email? It's 2816 3rd Street.
Yes, it's supposed to cut that today.
And it's already
been a while.
It's been a while.
That's right.
Behind, so.
And I think to address Councilman Wilson's concerns and the entire council's concerns, we can certainly work with our city attorneys to rebid that contract.
Yeah.
And I think.
Can we have more than one contractor?
I don't know if we could or not. Honestly, I think.
Does it warrant it, you think?
I don't think it would be, at least not at this point. If we have someone that I can call and they can be there in a few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it do warrant it.
I don't think anyone in my district was happy
No.
about
Yeah.
the time that it took, grass cut.
No,
So
man.
I feel like I have some options, just never got it, period. And
Right.
the owners
Every
didn't
year.
care, so.
Yeah,
I just wanted to be more effective with the time management.
Yeah, I think that would, I think this, once the word starts getting around that I'm getting charged a lot more, along with the contractor that
I just say cut
I
your
or
grass.
someone can call and is around town and can immediately go and take care of it. I
Do we
think
get
that
to
could
bid
solve
those
it.
contractors out? Does the council get to see those contractors?
I believe so, yes.
Because, in certain areas, and I agree with President Tyner, some areas may not have anybody
Oh, I do.
that need it.
Yeah.
But then there are some areas that,
Just call me, I'll come cut your grass.
yeah. I mean, and what they do is, what I'm being told, some people wait until they get a notice to cut it. And so my just concept is, if we're already thinking that we have a regiment, that grass, it takes, in certain months, your grass is gonna grow to a certain height. I think we even talked about decreasing the 12 inches to like 6 inches. I think that was one that was on the thing, because of the fact that I know in my district the grass is too high. And I know that I have a lot of absentee landlords. I know I have a lot of renters in my in my community who do not care about cutting their
I
grass.
don't mean to cut you off, brother councilman, but
Yeah.
since
It's my community next. My
you
community.
continue a little bit of
So
that grass.
can we?
I think to address that
Yeah, that's
concern,
good, yeah.
that's part of what this will do, is that those folks that sit there and they wait 7 days for us to send them a notice,
Oh, I got some people.
the third time we do
know,
that,
talk
whether we
about
get the contract or not, the third time that grass is over 12 inches, 1368 is gonna require them to get a citation.
Oh, ain't no doubt
Well,
about it.
I
By the time
already
it gets
know
to-
who I'm
I
gonna
like
call next year for
Yeah,
grass,
I got
because
you.
they do it every
That's
single
right.
year. Same ones.
That's right.
Same offenses.
So this
What
just-
you wanna do,
this
you wanna
just-
continue that
So
to
this
project?
discussion, we don't vote, this doesn't vote on, we just.
This is discussions
Yeah.
and feedback so we can bring you a proposal of new fees and a possible amendment, zoning amendment, possible rebid contract.
I don't have any concern with it, cause I suffer with, my district is full of people who neglect their, grass. I had to get my own service, just go cut some grass.
you
so I
did
get
that.
my- Yeah, out of my own pocket, so, trust me, I know. So I'm in.
Okay.
So do,
I've been with raising it to 400.
so what do you, are you gonna continue the conversation or what you gonna do?
Man, if he wanna move forward with this, I mean, I'm in on it.
I just wanted
don't have any
something on
issue with
the,
this.
I just wanted something on the repeat offenders.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that are just killing y'all and us too, cause it's same ones.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
right.
several times a growing season.
This can end the city being the grass cutter for
Yeah.
so many people's
There
property.
you go.
I'm in with that.
So, okay, so what I,
Admin policy, you're gonna bring a resolution.
well, what I can do, what it sounds like is you want to increase fees, you want
Yes.
the amendment to 1368, and you want us to look at rebidding the contract.
Or buy more goats.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, we can,
And
not sure on the
time
timeline,
management,
but we can
yeah.
certainly,
Yeah.
we've got, the good news is grass season is 4 or 5 months away before it
Yes.
starts really growing.
So we
Now
get
it's
some
a
more
good
contractors,
Yeah.
cause we gonna need.
But yeah, that's
don't need
exactly
it.
what I needed to move forward.
I ain't knocking them, but we live there.
All right.
I make a motion, we adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Second, thank you.
Thank